Depth of field is the term for the amount of depth blur in an image. Technically, however, this is incorrect because depth of field actually refers to the area that remains sharp in the image. For the purposes of this course, it is not necessary for us to go into all the technical details of depth of field, such as the circle of confusion and its calculation formulas. What is important for you as a VFX artist is that you have a basic understanding of what depth of field is and how it works. Depth of field, also known as focus range, is the area within the image that is in acceptable focus. In reality, the image is in focus only at the point of focus, but in most cases the depth of field is wide enough for us to perceive the image as being sharp in front of and behind the point of focus. As we widen the depth of field, a larger portion of the image appears sharp. When we decrease the depth of field, making it very shallow, only a marginal area around the point of focus remains sharp. The amount of depth of field can be controlled by the aperture of the camera. A small aperture directs the light rays to enter the lens at a limited angle, and therefore the image has a wider depth of field. Opening the aperture decreases the depth of field and causes the image to have increased blur. Shallow depth of field is in fact quite useful in blending elements to the live footage. The so-called film look relies heavily on shallow depth of field, in addition to higher dynamic range and the 24 frames per second frame rate. Another factor to be matched with depth of field is the shape of the blur, also known as bokeh. Many consumer and mid-range lenses have an aperture with 6 or 7 blades. Higher-end lenses often have 9 blades. The shape of the blur is mainly a matter of personal preference. Some like to get as close to a perfect circle as possible, while others prefer a more angular shape. The shape becomes more apparent in shots that have highlights. The options for setting the shape of the bokeh can usually be found either in the settings of the virtual camera or depth of field properties.